This conference will now be recorded.
All right, evening, everybody. Spring is on its way, except for a snowstorm tomorrow, rainstorm on the weekend, and then we get to lose an hour of sleep. But you know something? I like the afternoon to be a little brighter, so that's not too bad. Start working on the boat. We have a meeting in February. Can I get a motion to accept the approval of the minutes of the February 8th meeting?
So moved. Karen Rodia.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Joseph. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Okay, cool. All righty. Let me see. Okay, all right. So we're going to get the report from Kelly now. We have had, again, going through each one of these things, and I'm just going to ask Kelly if there's anything pressing on any of them instead of having to regurgitate every item, because I think that's what we've been doing for the last few meetings. Unless there's anything tremendously new on any item, I think we're just going to have her go through there and say we're just status quo, any questions, and then move on. Kelly, is that okay with you?
Yeah, so we have a lot of things that are sort of in process with no large milestones or areas for feedback right now. So I'm going to breeze through everything quickly, and then if you have any questions on anything at the end, just let me know. Tree City USA, we still have not heard back on our application, so waiting to hear back from them on that. Street tree plantings as part of that grant to plant 100 street trees. Still waiting on the contract. They accidentally put my name on the contract and they have to put the mayor's name on the contract. So waiting for a revised contract on that before we get going.
Kelly, can I stop you on
Yep,
street tree plantings? Again,
Yeah.
we talked about this last meeting. Is there, we had this before, and about, working with a local arborist, not arborist, but a garden shop, or looking at trees. That's something we want to look at again. Something we should.
I reached out. Yeah, you mean for like a discount for
discount for
trees?
residents? Yeah, for residents.
I'll reach out again. I did talk to probably 4 or 5 area nurseries back in 2020, early 2020 or so, and I didn't get any bites on that. But I'm happy to reach out and see if anyone else is interested, especially now that we have Shannon's in town. Maybe that's something they'd be interested in. So I'll circle back on that.
Okay, that'd be
for
great.
Private trees.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right, thank you.
Not a problem. Yep. Also, just note Joe Gresco just joined us. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joseph.
And then let me see what else we got here. Open space grants. Our attorney, Bruce Jackson, is working on all the legal mumbo jumbo to acquire those Beaver Dam parcels to incorporate into Roosevelt Forest. I have no good updates on that, except that that's just going through the various processes. Waterfront access points. My intern just gave me our most recent draft, and I'm kicking that over to economic development to see if they have any input. And then we'll go from there. I'm hoping that maybe they will take that to the finish line and get that more professionally produced. But if not, we'll get their input and then we'll get that up on the website. Brownfields update, no major updates there. EPA is working through their investigation at Kramer's Junkyard on 11 Old South Ave, and contract plating is still on the market. So we don't have any good offers on contract plating yet. Inland Wetlands Commission, we still do have Teakwood Estates on the table. That's our largest application that you folks will probably want to have some say on. We're going to be meeting, as long as we have a quorum, we'll be meeting on the 16th at 7 p.m. in Council Chambers. I have not heard anything from Teakwood Estates or their engineer or anything since their last submission for last month's meeting, but last month's meeting was canceled due to lack of quorum. So more to come on that.
And what parcel is this, Kelly?
That's at Teakwood Estates. It's a parcel off of it's about a 10.5 acre or so parcel off of Broadbridge Avenue. I believe I want to say it's 20 lot subdivision off the top.
This would be a huge impact to the traffic on Burbage Avenue and onto probably Silver Lane because of the amount of cars going there. Because I think there's going to be 2 access points in. And not only that, the thing that this commission should be concerned about is that it is a living
wildlife
corridor.
corridor.
It's a corridor between down the power lines heading into Remington Woods. So a lot of birds, a lot of mammals, a lot of insects use that corridor to get down into there, and it's got a lot of water in there. There's wetlands in there, a lot of ledge, and so yeah, I think when we get a little bit deeper into this, is something that we should have something to say about. Again, lots and lots and lots of foliage would be removed from there. It just would be not a good thing.
Right, yeah, they're proposing essentially a clear cut of the majority of the property, but
You kind of have to.
yeah, yeah, Inland Wetlands has not yet even accepted the application, so we're still pretty early on in that process anyway. So, but I will keep you guys updated on how it goes this upcoming, so not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday. And then Bruce Brook Watershed Base Plan, I finally got a revision on the contract back from Deep, but nothing has been signed yet, but they've made their final edits, and I think we're almost there, so we can get going on that. And I just got logged out of my email that I was reading this off of. So I think that the last thing was the Salt Marsh Stewards. That program is moving forward. We're hoping that those students will be onboarded by the end of March. And they will get to get going in Great Meadows Salt Marsh, replanting some native vegetation.
Yeah, that's gonna be a very good project. I know that I got my kids, the CDC kids at the zoo, are also part of that program, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Question for you on just not on any of the items here, but on Hawley Lane. Anything going on Hawley Lane? I know I've seen more construction there, and I just was wondering, does anybody take a look to see if they're encroaching into that wetlands area? And the reason I mention that is we're getting into spring. The peepers are starting to come out, and that's a wetlands that's very, very productive in amphibians. And I just didn't know if anybody's keeping an eye over there on that.
Yeah, so 577 Holly Lane is on, as I'm guessing that's what you're referencing, is under construction right now. I have not heard anything from the developer, but I will reach out to him just to check in and see how things are going now that we are going to be experiencing vernal pool breeding season and some spring snow melt, so things are going to be getting a little sloppy over there potentially. Last I went over there, Bill McCann mentioned, when I think this was last year, I guess, at the end of last year, that he thought they needed to extend their silt fencing, and I checked it out and everything looked all right there. But we do have another application before Inland Wetlands for 99 Holly Lane, but
Really?
that I have not yet reviewed it. That just came before me, so that'll be another project up there that we'll have to look into. But
Where is that?
I believe that's behind Big Y. So you have to go down a driveway to get to the south of Big Y, if that makes sense.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking
So
about.
it doesn't have road frontage yeah. So I think it's the snake pit, I think it's referred to,
Yeah,
that
snake
wetland
pit,
complex
right.
back there.
Exactly.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So that'll be coming for the as well. Yep. But yeah, I'll check in with Chris Fitzpatrick. He's the developer on 577 Holly Lane, and I'll see how things are going over there.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Kelly on her report? Anything to add to there? I know anything on Joe, anything on open space that you have?
There will be we just heard a bill Monday about greenways and trailways. Put in a bill to double the amount of bonding money from 3 to 6 million. So, because a lot of projects during the application round last year were unfunded because they didn't have enough money. So we're trying to double up there. And then on open space, this coming Monday, there will be a bill in front of us, we heard, that will do the same thing basically and double the amount of funding given to OSWA. So it'll go from 5 to 10 million because there were a lot of applications last time around that weren't funded because we didn't have enough money, or if we did fund them, we funded them at 40% as opposed to the usual 65%. So we got to get those two out of committee, and then I will make the full court press to appropriations to let us do that. So yeah, that's where we are on those two things, and all positive responses from multiple areas across the state. So I'm hopeful that those will get funded.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Joseph. All right. Okay. Again, last call on report from the Conservation Superintendent.
I came in late, so the other one I wanted to, oh shoot, I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh, nuts. Just go on. Don't wait for me.
Look on. You can raise your hand and we'll call on you if you remember. All right. Okay. Let's go on to ongoing items. Again, these are ongoing. We're going to have another meeting before Arbor Day and river cleanup. So we will have a kind of an organizational discussion as we get into those to those dates. We'll have a week to think. Kelly, anything that's come up on those at all at this point?
Not right now. I understand that Joe Resco has secured some volunteer work from Aquarian, and that they may be installing some pollinator gardens. I don't know, Joe, if you know a little bit more about that than I haven't had a chance to respond to them yet.
Yes, they of course want something, so do I. So I got Aquarian to sponsor the cleanup this year, and they're going to be coming in with some people and some money and the like. Coca-Cola along those lines too. They're going to come down with people and product and hopefully some good donations for Scott, and yeah, very happy about that. Coca-Cola has been very adversarial over the years, and now all of a sudden all they can do every time they see me is show me their bottle that was made out of 100% recycled plastic.
They got commercials like crazy going out on that now.
Well, I'm trying to cash in on that for the town, so and continue to encourage them to do it. So that's where we are. And I remembered what I was going to ask Kelly before, but the grant money for the trees. Any idea when the informational meeting or public hearing for the census tracts in the south end and west side is coming? Maybe in the spring.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have a kickoff in the spring. I've been hesitant to actually set anything in stone because I want to get the grant contract signed first. And I think you missed it, but they had my name on the grant contract, and I'm not authorized to sign it, so I had to kick it back to them. So I'm waiting for them to put the mayor's name on it. But I've been in touch with the state urban forestry coordinator. I don't know if you know her, Danica Dorowski, as well as one of our CTD forest servicers, service foresters, Andrea Urbano, and they're both interested in coming to the meeting, just with different perspectives to have a nice conversation. So I've secured them. I just haven't set the dates yet because I want to get that contract signed. But we do have the grant implementation period, I believe, is 2 years. So if we don't get them all in by this fall or so, we should still have another year to get those plantings in. So my hope is to have the meetings maybe this spring, summer, and then plantings in the fall. Any follow-up plantings in the spring.
Beautiful. And then along those lines, don't let me forget, because the Connecticut nursery and landscapers individuals have also said that if we need any trees for planting, they would pony up as well for Stratford. So yeah, keep that in mind so that if we run out of money to buy the other trees and more people want than what we can afford from this grant, that I could always tap into the landscape and nursery people.
Yeah, they've been
Okay.
good. They've been good, Joe. They've helped us up at the zoo, and I think things like Planter's Choice. I'm pretty sure if we go up there and ask them, they would support it also.
Were you
That was it.
hoping
Thank you.
to engage them for Arbor Day specifically?
No, I was just gonna avail them to whatever you or the Conservation Commission or you decide that we want to do, instead of having the town pay for it all the time. They'd be willing to come in and give some assistance.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, as you could imagine, I have a little list. So maybe we'll talk offline about doing some supplemental planning in addition to those 100 trees.
Yeah, let me know too, Kelly, because again, I got some inroads with some of these people also. So
Great,
cool.
sounds good.
All right, moving down then from river cleanup. Again, there's nothing. We'll circle back on the next meeting on that. Again, hopefully we get people out to help. We haven't had last year we did have one. I know, but the year before I know that we did not have it the year before. So again, we know there's a lot of cleanup that's going to have to be done. For Perhala Farm, really status quo on Perhala Farm right now. I have some people that want to go help, and we're just trying to figure out how we can get them to get in there. Right now is the time to be doing that. The kite surfing, Kelly, we brought it up last meeting, and we did have a meeting. Just to mention, we did have a meeting with Audubon, Fish and Wildlife, Deep, the town, and the reason for kite surfing and coastal rodents are on here is because of the concerns of Audubon with the piping plovers and nesting birds at Long Beach, mostly not Long Beach, but Short Beach also. So Kelly, you want to I think we mentioned last time, but Kelly, you want any updates on that?
Yeah, so the recreation superintendent has been revising all the signs for Short Beach, Long Beach, and the seawall. And she did include on there a carryover from another sign we had at Long Beach that kite surfing is going to be restricted to the eastern end of the beach. And we are going to provide some training to the lifeguards at that beach so that at least while they're there, they'll be enforcing that kite surfing can only occur on the eastern portion of the beach. So perhaps we could kind of take a pause on this on our agenda, and maybe once we get into the beach season, we'll report back on how that's working. And we might need to make some adjustments to that. Maybe we need to revise those rules based on some feedback we're getting. We'll kind of see how it goes. But as far as I know, although that sign has been there, that was never really enforced in the past. So we'll see how we do through a beach season of enforcement. And then we'll kind of reevaluate from there. And then to touch on the rodents, we do have somewhat of a rodent management program at the transfer station and at the seawall already, and those are just bait stations. But we are looking, so I did reach out to Apex, who is the contractor that we currently use, and they're looking into some more environmentally friendly options. I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm not even gonna try it. But the current bait that we use, there's conflicting research. Some of it says that it does cause secondary impacts to birds of prey, and some research is showing that it doesn't. So we're looking into some potential other options and getting some pricing on that still. But we're just trying to be really sensitive here, especially at Long Beach, because we do have the piping plover there. And we know that the snowy owl has been visiting there almost every year now. So we really don't want to run the risk of any of these birds of prey. I mean, well, piping plovers aren't birds of prey, but we don't want to run the risk of any secondary impacts. So I'm really being cautious about this at Long Beach, at least. So it's still more to come, unfortunately.
Right, and they are meeting basically with Audubon. Kelly gave that the drug that we use. They're researching it also. So again, we're looking into all those aspects of that coastal rodent issue. And there's really nothing. there's no magic bullet here, and so to speak, pun intended, probably, because that was one of the options, is to go hunting rats. But the so again, it's not easy. It's not as easy as it seemed. I know we at the last meeting we had talked amongst ourselves about potentially maybe creating more raptor friendly areas at Long Beach that maybe would bring some raptors in that could help with the rodent problem. From talking to Audubon and Deep, there's nothing really that we can put out there that would make a difference. The osprey nests are not. Their ospreys are going for fish. They're not going for warm-blooded prey. The only thing that would really make any kind of dent would be barn owls, but barn owls are not going to, unless you really put a nest box in a spot that's inside a building or next to a building, it's not going to be successful. Just putting a barn owl nest box out in the middle. And we're at the farthest range of barn owls in Stratford. We're right at the end of their range coming up from the south. So for them to come back here would be a monumental task. I know from talking, I've seen them at Pleasure Beach. They used to nest in the old pavilion there, but when the pavilion was reopened, they vacated it and have not been seen since. So just long story short, there's really nothing we can put out there for a natural deterrent in prey item, predator item. I mean, that would help. So. And it was a nice meeting. It was a good meeting. Again, everybody's very pleased that Stratford's sitting up and taking notice about this. We've talked about this before, is that we really have a responsibility to protect these endangered species on our beaches. So, and I think they're very, very appreciative that Kelly's doing a lot of hard work on this. So thank you, Kelly. Anything else on coastal rodents or kite surfing? Want to take lessons? No. All right. Native plant list is ongoing. That's something that we'll get and put together, and we're just gonna maybe not even have that on the list anymore, because it's just an ongoing thing to put it together. So not really big action item. Anything else in ongoing items? Going once, going twice, gone. So on new business, I have a couple things here. One is I'll go first. Privilege. Not much of a privilege, but the Bird Festival. I'm going to be meeting with members of the city, economic development, and Dave Wright, and we're going to be talking about creating a bird festival in the fall. This is just very preliminary. I have not any more information than that. Just going to meet with them as a preliminary discussion. And we're going to talk about what they're looking for. We know for Joe and Laura, you remember we did have a bird festival. Angela too. We had a bird festival a few years back that we tried to create a economic development driver for the town, getting people to come in here and partake in a bird festival, and then also understand we have the Great Mother's Marsh, that they can come in, do some really great birding. It is an important bird area that was designated by Audubon years ago. We did have a little ceremony back when Jim Myron was mayor, and Bill Finch came together because there was a Long Beach West kind of Pleasure Beach together as important bird areas. So we do have all of that going for us already. We have the Stuart McKinney Wildlife Refuge also there. So the idea here is to put something together that really spotlights that, and maybe have a weekend of something going on. I'm not going to go into, again, too much detail because I don't know what they're looking for. This is not going to be as big as we had talked about in the past, where we tried to get the restaurants involved, and we had all kinds of things going. I know they want to do some bird shows, maybe at the lighthouse. They want to do some bird walks, maybe at Roosevelt Forest. I did mention to them that the Conservation Commission can be involved. We can help by helping plan it, but I'm not sure exactly what we have that we can offer as support. We really have financial support. We can offer ideas. I can offer maybe some of my volunteers at the zoo, but those are not Stratford's per se. So I will keep you appraised. It's not going to be the fall, so that's just a beginning salvo of what we're talking about. Any questions on that?
Greg, this is
Yes.
Angela.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sure Laura knows this, the column I've been doing in Stratford Ladies. So I have all these columns written. So I'm sure Laura will let you peruse, or again, I can send you my saved documents, the topics I've covered. So if you want to use any of those, I can contribute that to the Bird Festival as far as if you're looking for ideas or information.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Angela. Again, I'll put that in there. We could probably have a lot of stuff going on our website, and then maybe our Facebook page, and then a lot of the other Facebook pages that delve with the same kind of thing, the ecology page and the Stratford Ladies. We can put all that stuff on all those Facebook pages. Again, the idea here is that we have to stay within our resources of what we can get done and do it effectively without a ton of funds, unless we're looking for a big sponsor, and I'm not sure where's that coming from. Cassandra?
Razor's Edge decided to be a big sponsor that celebrates Stratford this year. So I just was going through of what we could do at each event. So Greg, I would love to be abreast of this matter and help out in any form or fashion, because I mean I love birds. It's all super connected, and I want to make sure I'm getting my money for that marketing. So I would love to do it, and I'd love to feature like yellow cap night herons. Those are like my favorite Stratford birds. So whatever. But let me know how I could help you out and assist you in any manner of side.
Another climate change entry in Stratford. All right, cool. Thank you. I'll bring it up again, and this will be just a preliminary meeting, and then once I'll probably form with you guys another committee to talk about how this is going to pay out. All right. The other thing I wanted to bring up was, and Laura, I don't know if you want to bring this up in the zoning. There's a zoning change they're looking for Broadbridge Avenue. It doesn't affect conservation per se, but again, it does in the amount of effort that people are putting forth on saving our open spaces. So I don't know if you want to mention that. I wasn't telling her I was doing this, so she's surprised.
It's not really, I don't think it's a conservation issue, but I don't mind talking about it. It's an issue that is ongoing with the zoning commission, and there's a proposal by a company, Gold Coast LLC, represented by their attorney Barry Knott, and they must have property somewhere on Broadbridge. I'm thinking it's the corner of Stratford and Broadbridge. So they are proposing a zone change from RS3 and 4, which is single family small lot homes, to residential multifamily homes. So the proposal would allow this company to take a minimum of an acre property and potentially put 35 housing units on it, which would have single family quarter acre neighbors on either side. So I've spoken twice at the zoning public hearings, and again, I will do it again this month, which I believe is going to be March 23rd, along with several other residents who do not want this multifamily housing unit in their backyard. But the biggest issue for me is that this new edit of the text amendment to the zoning rules would take into account most of Broadbridge Avenue, so it would extend the multifamily housing from Barnum Avenue all the way up into my District 10 up to Emerald Place. So Emerald Place is where the Teakwood Estates development.
Right, and there's the connection.
Which is my concern as well, in addition to this little acre development, which is going to apparently have 35 housing units on it. The Teakwood Estates property is still virgin property. There's nothing on it with single family homes proposed to go there. And I'm wondering if that perhaps might change should this text amendment be approved later this month.
All right. Okay, thank you. And that's reason teakwood was one of the reasons why this I find this is a little bit a conservation thing. Also, that success. I mean, Remington Woods property is off of Burbridge Avenue also, so that could also be a issue there. It just makes the developer's life a lot easier to build something that may make a total change in a neighborhood. Now, again, that's not change in neighborhood is not the conservation's purview. However, heat sinks, creating areas that are basically not good for wildlife, and I believe 32 acres, 32 housing units on a acre of land is not a really environmentally sound practice there for trees and things of that nature, unless it's really put in there. I just wanted people to be aware of this, and again, we've done a lot of talk about trees lately. This seems to be something that would take a lot of trees away from us. All right, thank you, Laura. Any questions on that?
I have a question, Laura. When is the next meeting for zoning on that?
So
If
the
you just
zoning,
want to get the
yeah, it's
record.
going to be March 23rd. I'm not sure if it's going to be in person or virtual. The past two have been virtual. And they start at 7 p.m. It starts with a long presentation. Barry Knott likes to speak a lot. And then the public hearing is after that.
Okay, thank you.
So increased traffic, increased air pollution, heat sinks. Again, I think that it does fit a little bit into what we do. And I just wanted you to be aware of that. Joseph, state bills, anything to bring up on the state that we should be aware of and maybe support? I know there is, but I just thought I'd let you talk about it here.
Well, when Kelly mentioned the rats, we have a bill that would be prohibiting the use of rodenticides that are anticoagulants. So
Right. Yeah.
a lot of individuals that have birds of prey assistance nonprofits testified that it's just getting out of control. And of course, you hear from the other side saying, no, we need this as a tool in the toolbox. And after all of the testimony, I'm leaning towards, doing it because it's cheap and easy, and is basically why they use the rodenticides now. So that's one. We're going to have an extended product responsibility for cylinders this year. Pretty confident that's going to pass, meaning your 1 pound propane Coleman camper cylinders, your 20 pound refillables that you use for your barbecue grill and the like. It's not going to interfere with the refillable process that you have now, but when they're at the end of life, they're most likely going to get a stewardship program monitored and run by the industry that's going to give you somewhere to bring it for free, convenient, and more importantly, consistent. So it isn't like, oh yeah, we'll take your cylinders this one day at your hazardous waste, and then you don't do it anymore. So this is going to be consistent. Working on the same type of deal with the tires manufacturers, recyclers, retailers. You can guess that that's been a little bit more contentious going forward, but we're making some progress. I don't know if we're going to actually get a bill with a program this year. They're asking me to give them a year like we did for the cylinders, for them to come back with a stewardship plan. I don't trust them. I just can tell. I'm telling you, I don't trust them. So I have to figure out what I want to do going forward. I just think they're stringing me along. You know how you get that feeling. And then let's see. That's a lot of other good bills, but it's such a short session this year. I mean, it's the shortest it could possibly be constitutionally. We're going to end up having 5 weeks to cram in as much as we can. So I'm not going to get everything that I want over the finish line. There's another. We're taking a stab at the banning of expanded polystyrene again, your clamshells and the like, and getting rid of the school trays. We pushed it out a year. to give people enough time to wrap their brains around it. So I'm hopeful that that'll get passed this year. And that's where we are.
Okay. Any questions for Joseph? I know, yeah, it was an article in the paper about the school trays and stuff. It must have been a typo in there because it said something about they'd have to spend $800,000 or something. And I hope that was.
That's the I've got, these are cheaper and the alternatives are way more expensive, and look, there's plenty of half of the districts in the state are already doing this. So my answer is go see what they're doing, and don't reinvent the wheel, just copy it. And but you're getting enough pushback, so it's, and then you have we had testimony from some students saying, I don't want to, I feel bad throwing away the tray that I used once that really is, I haven't really used it. And now I throw it away and I don't want to do that anymore. So, I'm trying to say, listen to your market and do what they want. So.
Well, it's again, for a small shop like I have at work, we use the plant-based clamshells that you can actually, I think you can eat them if you want to. So for us, I don't understand why we can't make that happen someplace in a bigger situation with much bigger budgets than I do.
I would agree, and I would also suggest that would be a good draw at the zoo to see you eat a clamshell.
They're tasty, with a little sauce, not so bad. Chocolate sauce.
Feed them to the animals, Made of corn.
They are made of corn. That's what they are. Yep. All right. Thank you, Joseph. Any questions for Representative Gresco?
I have one quick question. I don't know if it's on the Environment Committee, but do you have any insights as to the raised bill to create a municipal tree fund for the utilities? Do you have any intel on that?
Yes, I also sit on the Energy Committee. I'm not the chair of Energy, but we vote on that, and we had a public hearing on it, and it was very positive going forward. Of course, the utility company doesn't want to spend as much money as they are suggesting. It's $500,000 for Eversource and $100,000 for Avangrid. And
you're ignoring me, mommy.
So, yeah, and they're pointing to these programs that they have already in place, and our response to that is, look, keep going with your program, but this is for where you go in and you clear cut areas. There are other species that you can't plant underneath of a power line that is okay. They're not going to be beautiful, big, huge trees, but I don't mind seeing a dogwood or something else that is not going to cause a huge problem. Why can't they go there? And so it's getting traction.
Good, because it's amazing to me because the amount of money to take a tree down seems to be, and Cassandra, you tell me if I'm right or wrong, the amount of money to take a tree down is much more expensive than to plant a tree, right? So it's not a huge.
$100,000 to plant trees. I was like, why don't they let that rip already? I mean, come on, you know what I mean? Like, that's all they have to give back. Like, that's not a lot.
No, and again, the tree cutting is the expensive part, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that they got to get around the power lines, they got to get all that stuff, they got to chip it up, they got to get rid of it.
Security, I would triple that number. Go back and cut them down later. Job security.
I don't believe the UI removes stumps either. They just sort of leave the dents in your wake. And,
it takes a long time for them to get the stumps out too. Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I'm hoping to give them a choice, that if they don't want to pay for the new tree, then come in and grind stump that you left there. And
well, then
and remove the grindings, Joe, and topsoil and seed. You can't just tell them to grind it.
Well, yeah, but then I get this because they say, well, Pura doesn't let us do that, and then I asked Pura during a public hearing whether or not they prohibit it, and they say no. So of course, anyway.
Yeah, all of their stumping goes to the town unless it's on a state right of way where we don't own the right of way. We end up with all the stumps and all the complaints for the stumps.
I've sent you some.
Yes, we're working through them. We're getting there.
All right. All right, anything else in new business?
I saw that the date for the Bird Festival is September 24th.
Just past our anniversary. It's great. I'll take you to it for our anniversary. It'd be nice.
Double dipping, Greg. No double dipping.
We may not make it. I don't know.
Yeah, we may not make it to the 20th. I may not. Okay, anything new business, guys? All right, anything else for the good of the order? Hearing nothing. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second that motion.
All right, second, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, guys. Lots of stuff happening. It's amazing. We start this agenda.